Car number 42 from Durham, Connecticut, DMW Graphics gives us Michael Wray.
I felt pretty good about the 2021 season. I thought we were poised for a really good year. First time since we owned the car, we tore it all the way down. We redid some tin work. We thought that we sort of tried to play with some aerodynamic stuff that we thought maybe we were losing a little bit. Just I think in general we did our homework, we went through the car. At the end of the day, you know, we're fighting for hundredths of a second. So anything you can do to find even just a little bit, something, you know, it's worth trying.
Here is Michael Wray stepping out of line, gets into Gray for the race lead. Gray slides up the racetrack. Here comes Bennett to the inside for second.
I think I got shuffled back to fourth or fifth, which ended up being the saving grace for me because those guys collected each other and then was able to get down. I think that got me to second, and then Tommy and I battled from there. He started going away and we got to him, and I knew Bennett was coming from behind, and I just had to get going, had to get by him, so I made a quick move on him and took off.
And again, Vern out of shape off turn 4, and again he saves it, but here comes Michael Wray to the inside in car number 42.
Off the fourth turn, Michael Wray will hold on to take down the impressive victory.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, like I said, I think in Victory Lane, we've been trying to win a Sizzler for a long time. I got a couple fall finals, relief. You know, you feel like, again, all the hard work in the off season, it paid off and it got you there.
Michael Wray, again, just quietly running second. I mean, he was fast again. Point leader still with top 5 finishes this season.
Point leader by 20 going into this Friday night.
Along with winning the first race of the year and running up front, you get behind in the handicap, right? And then you're in the back with guys like Tommy Fern and Adam Gray. And you gotta make those consistent runs through the field. It's challenging, but it's also rewarding. It makes you feel good, you know, when you can do that. Try to do the same thing every week, bring the same car back every week, make sure you're consistent with your maintenance and your setup and everything else. Again, you spend the whole offseason working on the car, and if it doesn't pay off, it can be tough.
When it comes to a points picture, Michael Wray's not had a good couple races compared to how he was earlier in the year, so the points picture, to say the least, has tightened up. In fact, it's a tie.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think it was a combination of factors. I think partially a lot of it track got away from us. You know, again, we did get behind on our setup, I think. I think part of it, you know, some of those guys have, I think like Adam said, he had a notebook, he went back several years to go find the setup, and I think that, you know, we don't necessarily have that, right? We've only run on these tires for a couple of years. You know, I'm sure he went back to a setup from 5, 8 years ago. Could be a bunch of things, bad luck. I made some mistakes, of course, you know, just a whole combination of factors. The way that the car was handling at the beginning of the year compared toward the middle of the year, no question. You know, when it gets hot and slick and, again, they put the traction compound down, it does change things for us. Oh, it's extremely frustrating. It's not only just for me, for the team, right? We were 6 or 7 weeks in, I think we had like a 20-point lead, and it was tough to watch that evaporate and then shift. I think we ended up 100 points down, right? More, 150 points down, something like that. And not that I try to focus on points, but it's a barometer.
The DMW Graphics 42 was caught up in a big pileup, but the Northford native worked his way back to the front, finishing in the 4th position.
That was tremendous. We struggled for, I don't know, 8 races in a row or whatever. Doing a lot of experimentation, trying a bunch of different stuff. Really just trying to figure out stuff for next year, right? So it was nice to see that pay off. You know, it made us feel like we figured something out, and I think it puts us on better footing for next year.
The sparks flew under that 61 entry, and now Bennett and Wray get together, and Bennett goes for a wild ride up the back straightaway along with Michael Wray, who got all 4 tires off the ground.
I almost didn't realize I was in the air. I certainly didn't realize what had happened the first little bit of the ride. And something about the angles, the way that our front bumper and his rear bumper met up, sent us up. It definitely bent the car and it hurt it there toward the end. I think we probably had a 3rd place car or so. There's something to be said, right? I don't think I drilled a rivet out all year, which I think is a pretty good accomplishment in the late model division. Instead of having to focus on fixing your car every week, you can focus on improving it. So I think that was a big factor. I mean, we worked a lot with Jay Stewart, JMD Chassis. He gave us a lot of really great advice. I mean, it's hard to be upset with the way the beginning of the season went for sure. It's really easy to be upset with the middle of the season, and then the end of the season, I think, you know, we found some stuff, and I think that points us toward a good direction for 2023. I mean, more than anyone, my mom and my dad. You know, my dad spends a lot of hours out here. My brothers, Davey and Dennis, both, you know, between working on the cars and support, like, mental support, that kind of thing. The rest of the family, everyone's there. We bring, I don't know, 15, 20 people to the track every week. And it's nice to have that kind of backup. As well as, like I said, Jay Stewart, he's been huge. He always wants to see this car run well, so he's always helping us out. Dave Miller from Auto Machine built some great motors. I think me and Kevin both have his motors and we're in well with them. My spotter, Kyle Rogers, he's, as far as I'm concerned, the best guy up on the roof you can get. Waiting on him to get a cup job someday. My brother, DMW Graphics, he always puts an awesome wrap on the car. My car, Davey's car, and Dana's car. Cody Rogers, Kyle's brother, he filled in first a couple weeks when Kyle wasn't around. Off-season looks like a lot of work. Fixed the car after we went flying through the air, last race of the year. Hopefully complete teardown, rebuild, freshen the motor up, fix whatever's bent on the frame, and go back and let her rip in 23.